MGReviews, where I review all things tabletop. And in this episode, I'm going to talk about Hero Forge Strong Plastic Miniatures. Now, this is their cheapest option. It's $14.99 for one of these guys. And for many of us, that's precisely the right price point. Now, you can see that the detail in these things are not so good. Very sandpapery. So I'm going to use a toothbrush here. Nice brand new toothbrush from the dentist. And brushing these things down, you can see how fine this stuff is. It's very, it's hard to get at. You definitely don't want to have to fight this stuff when you're laying down some paint. And that's why I'm doing this before I hit it with a primer even. So I'm actually going in with a fine modeling tool and removing any of the excess stuff from the printing process. And as you can see, I'm primarily focusing on the crevices and large flat surfaces. And as I'm doing this, I'm noticing one of the benefits of this medium. The miniature is very strong, very durable it seems. So I'm not too worried about breaking off one of the arms or anything like that, like the high detail stuff they produce. Now that that's all done, I'm going to go ahead and hit it with some black spray primer, flat matte of course. This here reveals the sandpapery texture of the miniature more. So to cover that up, I'm going to go to use some brush on black primer and fill in all those spaces. It almost looks like cast iron, but it's quite light. So to get the most out of this miniature, I'm going to paint the spaces onto the miniature itself, creating lines where there are muddled lines from the printing process. As many of you know, I'm more of a layering wet style painter, these days anyways. All I do know is that you want to avoid dry brushing this Hero Forge medium. Unless you're painting some kind of woolly cloth or leather, it's just going to ruin your day. And this miniature is pretty much all metal, so it's going to have to look very smooth for being very sandpapery. And as you can see here, I'm using a lot of high contrasting lines to get that effect. This whole thing will be painted with non-metal metal, so I'm going to need whatever I can get. As you can see, here's the first layers of the non-metal metal. Basically just building up the grayscale. It's iron or steel texture, so obviously it's very easy to come out from the white into that color. There's also going to be kind of an ambient surrounding OSL effect on this miniature, kind of a fiery glow. As I build up these layers, you can see that the sandpapery texture is not so much a distraction anymore, and I think the contrast really helps with that. The light and dark and the green from the orange glow, these are very contrasting tones and colors, and really makes for a nice, lovely miniature. This is a labor of love, both making the videos and painting these miniatures, and I'd just like to thank you guys for joining me for another episode of MGReviews. Every like, share, and subscribe truly motivates me, so keep it up.